it's my pleasure today to talk to Matt. And thank you, the LinkedIn world, because we got introduced there, and I looked at some really cool stuff, what he does with his company, and I can for sure say this that I'm not going to be able to do justice explaining what he does. So let it come from right from the horse's mouth. Welcome, Matt. Glad that you joined us for this informal chat with my wine glass and with your morning, shake with all the things that you're doing. Let's show it everybody. So it's morning for you, and it's late. It's kind of light night in the UK. Welcome, and please introduce yourself.
Thanks for having me. Yes, it's actually 1 p.m., but it's definitely my breakfast. So I've been fasting for a bit today, going over a lot of calls. So I'm excited to be here because we're going to talk about e-commerce, which is something I love talk about all the time. My name is Matt, as you mentioned. Together with my wife Claudia, we operate Email Ties for about 2 years right now. We specialize in email and SMS marketing or retention marketing for e-commerce businesses. We work with brands, or we currently work with brands in various industries, from pet stores, from seasonings, health products, to all kinds of interesting products, physical goods, and that's what we've been doing and growing ever
Thank
since.
you.
Excited to
I
be here.
recently attended an event in London where there were like a bunch of 50 people all talking Shopify. And everybody's talking about there's this new cool app which is coming which uses ChatGPT. Pardon me, but they said that. Then somebody else spoke about something else, etc. And then somebody else suddenly stood up and said, you know what? What's the most popular app even today is the one that sends an email, right? So and of course, some of them use Klaviyo because that's how the brand is, etc. And so the reality is that whatever the hype is at one stage, everybody can talk about it, but when it comes to execution, I think there's no other channel that works as good as email. And you can really go deep, and that's where I think the buzz for 2023 across e-commerce is how you improve your margins now. How can you go and sell more from the existing customers? Personalization, and one of the biggest topics is retention marketing. I'd like to start by, getting your feedback on what do you think about retention marketing? What are you guys doing? What are the trends that you see your merchants asking for? And, how do you see this going for this year and ahead?
Got it. Yes, great topic. So I will begin with a story. I was speaking with a brand owner, multiple seven figures at this point, and we're having conversation about the retention marketing or email and SMS in general. And I asked him at one point, like, hey, when is the first time you started looking into email marketing? So he was like, great question. He stopped for a second, gave it a second thought, and turns out that the first year in business, this was like a couple of years ago, started pretty much almost like a drop shipping model, I would say, but they had some inventory as well. So they invested more than typical drop shipping type of thing, evolved into a brand. And the first year they were running ads on Facebook, and they were pretty much like printing positive ROIs, like getting, I don't know, 4x, 5x ROIs, no problem.
Wow.
So there was, or maybe even more at scale. They were spending money. Obviously, they got them to like first $1 million in sales. But there was a time after the first $1 million in sales, a bunch of changes to iOS world changed the whole attribution and everything, the competition, etc. That there was a time where they were spending now $100 on ads, and they were not printing $400 or $500 in return, but they were getting back like $100 back. So they were spending $100 and you get $100 back, but you also have a product. So it's very, very easy to basically close down the business because you're constantly spending the same amount of money than you are making back. And at this point, they started looking into email marketing, and that allowed them to scale to multiple seven figures because they had to be now in the business of selling more products to the same customer, which is a pretty good spot. And that's one thing. So that's how I see retention. Like you want to, of course, if you have not too many products, it might be challenging for you, but there's always a way to create more products or create more opportunities to sell to the same customer. And that's how you grow your lifetime value. And there's a lot of things. I have a few things that I could share with you in a second that help, like in some cases, double lifetime value in like literally 24 hours.
Wow.
And so it was quite fascinating to see. But also there was this famous marketer who in one of the interviews said that you will win in the game of like e-commerce space, in acquisition space, where you can pay the most for the same customer. And how you can pay more for the same customers that you know that you have a backend system that will turn that one customer into multiple times buyer, or even the traffic that you're paying for. Because remember, if you want to get one purchase conversion, you need to get like 50 people to visit your site.
Yeah.
Right. And only one will buy, maybe less, depending on the product, maybe more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you get 50 people to your site, you should be collecting about 5 emails or maybe 5 phone numbers that you can talk to. And see email and SMS as just a communication channel. You can literally just send an email, even if you wanted to, keep it super simple, send a plain text email, introducing yourself and tell a story, maybe tell about what makes you unique. And who knows, maybe that will get you sales, right? So that's my take on it. I believe this is the absolute necessity to scale. You will not make it successful without traffic, so you need traffic.
Sure.
I think it's not like you need one or the other. You need both.
You need both.
And yeah, that's what I would start with. So share the story. I don't know if
no, absolutely, yeah.
Share the story.
Because again, just before you go there, I think it's a constant debate now when people started talking about 2023 is about retention, right? I think you said it bang on that it's not either or, it's both, because there are tools, the biggest in the world, they all focus on traffic. Your Facebook, Google, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc. They're all into traffic. But because they run the advertising side of the world, they don't care about engagement and conversions. They make money on ads, so they'll force you to go and spend the CPAs and CPCs and CPMs there.
Yeah.
Then once the traffic comes to your page, then what you do is completely your business, your headache, your problem. And that's where, email brings about that after effect as well, that even if for some reason you are not able to convert them in that session, you still have an opportunity to go and contact them and bring them back, right? So I think you bring forward a very important point there for settling the debate in that way. Guys, we need both. So with that, I'd love to hear the story, please.
So the story behind the lifetime value, doubling the lifetime value, and literally the fastest was 3 hours. We had like 40 people that did that within 24 hours, and a bunch more within the first week. And all we did is we improved transactional emails. So you know how you get this invoice-like email from Shopify as a customer, as a consumer, that basically says, here's your order number, here's your shipping information, and that's it. Pretty much, like, I don't remember if they put Shopify logo or created by Shopify or put your logo on. Very basic. So what we did is we integrated it into the email service provider. I think this was Klaviyo in that case. Yeah. And we added a lot of branding to it. Sure. We added not really like any discounts or stuff like that. I don't think even it's legal, to be honest. Don't take me on it, but you'd have to do your own research. But we just showed more products. Definitely keep the branding consistent, congruent with the rest of the branding of the company, like the overall branding of the company. Yeah. And we should think about how many touch points you have with the person that bought your product. So you have order confirmation, you have orders being fulfilled, shipped, delayed or arrived at your doors, right? So you have 4 to 5 touch points there. And those are emails that like most of the people will open. Like
Yeah.
you can't wait to get your order, at your front door. You can't. You would definitely when you pay, especially if you pay for the first time, you would definitely wonder somewhere in your head like, did they take my money, run away? Was it like a scam or things like that? Unless you're like at the mall and now they see
but
they've
you're
seen
already
at the
interested to
mall
see,
and now
how
they
soon you're
buy
gonna get it
online.
because you're excited about your purchase.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you open these emails, and somehow you open these emails. A lot of people came back. Like I was literally all day. It was like a Sunday. I remember. Like I was literally. I was on Sunday going through the Sunday. I remember and the whole transactions. I was on Sunday going through the profiles and the whole transactions and like what did they do? Like did they open an email? What email? How long did it take them? There's literally a person opened this email like 1 p.m. and at 4 p.m. something. She bought again. She spent another, this was like $180 order.
Wow.
And 3 hours later, she spent another $220. This was the first purchase. She didn't even get the welcome email. Like She signed up, she went on the site, she bought, and then bought again, right? So I was like, oh, maybe this is just one-time wonder. And then, I went through the rest of the day. There was literally like 30 to 40 people that a lot of them doubled the lifetime value within 24 hours.
Yeah.
It will depend on the nature of your products. This was jewelry. And I believe my assumption is the reason why they bought again is that they already like didn't have any barrier. Like they already gave you the credit card. So I might as well add more jewelry to my stacks, like lifestyle jewelry.
Sure.
Like that type of product, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get another necklace.
Yeah.
And that would be possible, though, if we didn't send that email showing, if I bought a necklace showing bracelets or showing different types of products.
Yeah, upsell, cross-sell.
Which leads me to personalization and being specific, which I know you have a few things to say about, personalization, because the more personalized you are, the higher chances
that's a
of you to
brilliant
convert.
case. You know what? Because what you're trying to do is you've had a very limited understanding of what the customer bought from the time they spent with you. But from even with that limited things, the things that you can do is mind-boggling for the customer, right? Because as soon as you find out what they bought, you can go and upsell, cross-sell, or give them another product recommendation, etc. You can offer them some kind of discounts and offers for the next purchase that they do. And all this, like you very rightly said, is offered to them now with less friction because you already have their shipping information, address, credit card, etc. So it's kind of a one-click wonder there. And for the example that you were talking about, it's about a person who's come in and ordered for the first time. They were happy, impressed with the brand. How was the website? How was the buying experience? And then the email, which did the last, nail on the head from that perspective that, hey, they're giving me the right information and let me go for it again. So that works a lot. No, that's perfect because, works. And that's where I think a lot of stuff that we've been experimenting at the moment is at Kui is about personalization, right? So before we get down there, I'd like to just address a few points on personalization just to make everybody understand. Firstly, guys, personalization is a term that existed like maybe 15 years in the market, so it's nothing new. I agree with you, right? But there is a constant debate about, is it worth the investment? Can I measure it? Do I even know if it works, etc.? The technology has moved far, far beyond, and now you can have personalization built up in a matter of minutes, not even, hours and days. It doesn't require resources. It's not that you're spending like $25,000 on the platforms and things like that. Also, personalization is something that works for repeat purchases, right? So anybody who's come in, and especially in the e-commerce world, I think the importance of zero and first party data is quite a lot, because at the end of it, the cookies are going to die. Attribution is still a problem. Even if somebody purchases after 30 days from a Facebook click, Facebook still wants to claim that the purchase came from them, and all the other problems, etc. But personalization goes a long way because uh, as per Deloitte, as per Gartner, as per McKinsey, they all claim in their reports that about 80 to 85% of your online shoppers today expect personalization by default.
Hmm, that's interesting data.
Yeah. But I'll tell you another very fascinating fact, and it's amazing that if you look at the number of apps available on Shopify, right? Uh, if you look at personalization, the oldest app that says that they do personalization has existed in Shopify App Store since 2014, right? And the penetration they have is 0.3% in the market.
Hmm,
Insane, right?
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Very, very fascinating. But again, personalization can be done in many ways. You can have a like a widget or a pop-up that we do a lot. Then you can have email personalization. You can do now WhatsApp, SMS, etc.
Yeah,
And
that
different
like
different things. And
just like marketing should be creative.
yes,
So it's not only like, hey, name, and then the rest of the email.
yeah,
You can, like, for example, I got a very interesting cold email that somehow spoke to me directly, where we live in Palm Desert, so it's
yeah,
Southern California. There's a lot of country clubs and golf courses here. So, and in that email, they didn't even mention my name, and I didn't even pay attention to it because I just scrolled through this email,
yeah.
and there was like 4 or 5 country clubs that are like elite country clubs that I'm familiar with. I haven't
Sure.
lived there yet, but maybe after
Soon,
we record
soon.
100 videos like this, we'll
Yeah,
be there. Yeah, just like where all the stars live, like the
yeah.
Kardashians live there, Ed Milet, or like Arnold Schwarzenegger, his house there, Bill
Sure.
Gates, all these guys, right? And for whatever reason, I knew exactly that this email landed in the right inbox because I live here, right? And they didn't have to use my name. They didn't have to use my business name or anything like that.
Yeah,
They were basically they knew that this is. I knew right away that this is to me. So personalization can be definitely creative, should be creative, and if you can personalize, like in the e-commerce space, I think you should be looking into personalization based on buyer's intent. So to break it down in simple words, if you look at product 1X, right, a pen, by the way, great brand, um, then of course you should personalize based on my intent. So I was looking for the pen. So what else can you show me?
yeah,
You can show me notepads, right?
yeah,
You can show me maybe, I don't know, this same pen in different
yeah.
colors.
Perfect.
Try
Yeah,
to kind of like, overcome some sort of objections that I might have
yeah.
because I didn't buy it, and be not even overcome objections, because that sounds more like a salesperson would do it, but like be the guide, try to guide me through the process.
Make the
Obviously,
decision. Yeah,
exactly. Obviously, I'm interested.
yeah,
Obviously, if I'm interested, that means I was looking to buy it from you or from someone
yeah.
else.
Yes,
So you might as well just offer some personalized guides, and that's why quizzes perform so well.
yes.
That's why, surveys are so important and underrated, because you're trying to understand who you're talking to and what they're looking for.
Yeah,
And if like, I honestly, you sure the data was 0.3% or 0.03% market penetration.
yeah.
I honestly think that the same applies, similar number would apply to e-commerce brands who never actually like get closer to their audience and try to understand what they actually want, and they
Yeah.
just send emails to everyone on their list with everything, like all kind, like no personalization, no guidance
And
there. So I
personalization
think
is,
they're
is
missing
made
out.
so raw, so dry, because most of the platforms are kind of like that. And the thing is, everybody's living in the past, and which is in the nicer words called segmentation, right? You felt like
Yeah.
buying something yesterday, doesn't mean you like to buy it today. You might have gone to some other website, bought something else already, right? But what will you be shown is, hey, no, I still have that t-shirt for you. Let's just go and buy it. So, okay. All right. That kind of brings me to the topic, to a very controversial topic in e-commerce, right? So I'll tell you the statistics is 90% of e-commerce companies cannot convert enough visitors as customers to break even, right? 90%. This is a global stat. And again, going back to the same thing, right? You bring 100, you pay a lot of money to bring 100 visitors on your website, only less than 3% convert, et cetera, right? So, and then on top of that, to incentivize and do CRO and other sales promotion, you go and start offering discounts to people, which helps you move the needle. Your sales increase. And he talks about Thanksgiving, he talks about Christmas or Valentine's, but it has a massive impact on your bottom line, and your profitability still is impacted. So I'd love your take on discounts, and what do you kind of think about it?
Discounts. Yes, that's when I first started, I thought that's the only way to sell products, just pump discounts. And I also thought that every e-com brands will just keep the discounts the same. So first email, you send 10% off, fifth email, you send 20% off, and every email automations will be the same. That perspective has changed, let me tell you, since I started. And mainly because I was just following advice from people that were just pumping discounts. I do believe that discounts have a right place at the right time. I would not. I know that there's a lot of discount abusement going around. Like your discounts might land in the wrong page, and if you don't disable it, which you don't want to disable it because someone, right person could claim it, so you don't want you will lose a lot of margins. I actually saw this one prank for 1st of April, and this week, this month, someone said, like, my employee that I fired. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it has a 90% off code or something.
Yeah. So I almost believed that, like, in the beginning, like, oh, because he made it like a story. He didn't reveal it right away.
Indeed.
And it was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, he stole and he created a 99% discount and sent it to the entire list.
Yeah.
It was quite funny, but
it was quite smart as well. Yeah.
Another story that I have is that we forgot at one point after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for one account, we forgot to, one client, turn the discount emails with discount code back on. So for Black Friday, you change most of your structure, email and SMS marketing structure, because you have side-wide sales, and it's it's all about sales and discounts and all that. So you don't want to have your typical discounts, right? So we disabled them all, and like a month later, I think even already in January, like, my wife Claudia, she monitors like service delivery for the biggest part, and she looked into this and like, damn, we forgot to turn on the discounts.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? How could we forget about that? And then she looks like the data, and we literally made 5 to 10% growth from like this customer makes like 76% from email and SMS. I know the attribution can be tricky here and there.
Of course,
but it's still like we're getting like a lot of attribution from emails and SMS. And regardless the fact that we forgot to turn the back on, he still was making sales. So that basically leads me to a conclusion that at the right time, it's worth it to get that 15-20% less margin, but a customer who might buy again, which leads us to the retention part.
Exactly.
And not to have a customer. And at one point, like, if this is your strategy to just give discount codes and that's how you want to get clients, it's probably not going to leave you. It's probably not going to moving forward leave you profitable. Moving.
And something
about that.
I think I completely agree, and we have a very different take to discounts, because what we do is we kind of look at the customer intent in real time rather than historical segmentation, what they wanted. We kind of look at micro behaviors of every single visitor, what they're doing, how fast they scroll between pages, do they go to PDP directly, do they go to add to cart, do they search, etc., all those. And if it's a high intent customer, then either don't offer them a discount or offer them a very small discount. If there's a customer who's not very sure what they want to buy, then give them a higher discount to bring, cross them the line. So helps you increase sales, but also helps you improve your margins because you're not offering a 20% to everybody. Right? That's how kind of a take. And these are the benefits that you see straight away. But when we also track the KPIs behind on running intent-based campaigns, you see increased average session durations. You see decreased bounce rates. You see increased add to carts because the offer is presented to them dynamically in their customer journey, not just one page, not just here and there, right?
Yeah.
And of course, it leads to sales of the particular product that you're trying to promote, right? Okay. The last thing that I've heard, and I'd love to hear your take on, Matt, is about I'm hearing that some brands have started offering cashbacks instead of discounts now. Not in the UK, I haven't seen this quite a lot, but I don't know what's the scenario in the US at the moment.
You don't have Wolf of Wall Streets. Oh, Wolves of Wall Street. You don't have them because that's most. You need the New Yorkers to take care of that.
True, that's true.
Yeah, that's who's behind basically the cashbacks going around. Anyway, I think if you are hurt, like your profitability was hurt through the discounts, that like I'm not talking about personalized discounts you've mentioned.
Sure.
Because they have a place, like if someone is not buying after so many touch points, probably a discount will be making sense because you want to get the customer, right?
Yeah.
I know I'm consuming, as a consumer, I buy from a lot of brands without discounts. I never wait for a discount.
Yeah.
But I need to be sold on the product. It needs to be like the best product that I can get anywhere else, and then I will buy without discount, right? So what they came up with is that you can get the full price, like full average order value, by offering a cashback. So as a subscriber, you'll grow your list much faster because people obviously, like, instead of giving 10% discount, you give them 20% cashback, and they can use that cashback for anything they want. Like you get actually cashback card you can use. If you want to give a gift card for the store, you can get a gift card for your store.
Nice.
But if not, you can use it. You can buy grocery with it. And for the business, for a consumer, it obviously makes sense, especially around holidays, because you get to buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
From the business perspective, you get a lot more people to sign up through your pop-up because it's new, because it's interesting and appealing. Yeah. And of course, financial situation changes because now if you, let's say, have $100 product and you would give them 10% or 15% discount, the average order value would be $85, right? Or $90. Yeah. Now they spend $100 because they in order to get a cashback, they need to spend the full price.
Interesting.
So, and the interesting data here is not the cashback and you grow the list, increase profitability, but the third most interesting aspect to me is that it takes a couple of weeks to get the cash back. I think 30 days. So to get like the card so you can use for whatever you want. Yeah. And believe it or not, by the time it arrives, people, like 60% of people never actually claim it. So you got a customer who is already using your product. Wow. So they kind of love it. If you're doing a good job with your products, they already should love you. If you do a good job with like education aspect of it, you will get people to, fall in love with the brand. And then you basically never have to pay anyone cash back because they forgot about it or didn't claim it. Or I don't know the reason. Like people, turns out,
but at the end, you're
like free money.
Your GMV is high. It's not discounted. Your overall value is high. Your cash flow doesn't get impacted, because again, if you need to do it in the next 30 days, then it's not that you're discounting the value straight away. You get the full amount in there. Wow. Wow. Oh, this is something pretty cool. It's tough to innovate in this space, because of everything. But it's still amazing that I do get surprised every once in a while in 15 days now, saying, "Oh, this is really cool," and that's how it should be.
Yeah,
So
it's very interesting concept. I'm kind of sold on it. Took me a
very
while
interesting
to
concept. I'm
understand
kind
it,
of
how
sold
that
on
would
it.
work,
Took
like
me a
because
while
from
to
technical
understand it, how that would
point of
work,
view,
like
I
from
have to
because
figure it
from
out,
the
but
technical
it's fairly
point
easy
of
to
view, I have to
implement.
figure it out,
Sure.
but
And
it's
it's
worth
fairly
testing.
easy
I
to
think
implement.
everyone who has a
Sure.
good traffic
It's
should
worth testing.
test
I
it
think
out.
everyone who has a
Okay.
good traffic
Interesting
should
concept.
test it out.
Yeah.
And if we can help you,
Interesting
keep
concept.
more profits
Yeah.
in
And
our
if we
pocket,
can
why
help
not?
you, no,
Keep more
absolutely.
profits in our pocket,
Again,
why not?
it's been amazing, man, to have this chat, and I think one of the biggest takeaways I'm going to go away with is, one is not enough, and I need to catch up with you more regular basis, and of course everybody listening, can get a lot of wealth of experience and really cool tips on all what's happening in e-commerce from Matt. So again, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to doing this again with you sometime. So yeah.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Always open to having a chat on e-commerce, anything related to e-commerce.
Perfect. And lots to learn
Always
from you,
happy to
Matt.
chat.
So, guys, goes about this, and happy to reach out to Matt if you have any questions or anything that Matt can help you with, email personalization, etc. They work with a lot of merchants in the US and different parts of the world. So do that. And in case you're looking for